fully master the practice of selfless service, we must remember to serve the people we have forgotten, our elders. As a Filipino American, I was brought up with the value of family heavily instilled in me. In Filipino culture, being family oriented, hospitable, and respectful are some of the most important traits to embody. Along with these values comes the expectation that children are responsible for taking care of their parents when they get older. However, this act is not seen as an obligation or a chore, but as a privilege. The opportunity to take care of a parent and give back to them is something many are grateful for. This tradition has been honored in my family for as long as I can remember. When I was in the third grade, my great grandmother had moved from New York to California to live with my family and I. My great grandmother, who we call Nanay Carmen, Nanay meaning mom in Tagalog, Nanay meaning mom in Tagalog, began to show signs of dementia soon after my little sister was born in 2015. She would look for her dogs that she had in New York or the Philippines and stop completing tasks that were part of her everyday routine, like exercising or doing her extensive skincare regimen. Dementia is caused by abnormal brain changes, which affect one's behavior and memory. The term dementia not only refers to a single disease, but rather a collection of symptoms associated with cognitive and functional decline. These symptoms include forgetting things like where you are or what day it is, trouble following conversations, and difficulties performing everyday tasks. There are many forms of dementia, but the most common type is Alzheimer's disease, which accounts for 80% of all dementia cases. This specific type of dementia is caused by a buildup of two substances in the brain called amyloid and tau, which make it hard for the brain to work properly. Like all forms of dementia, there is no cure for Alzheimer's, and its effects cannot be reversed. There are only medications that can slow the condition from worsening. Our family wasn't unfamiliar with dementia, as my other great-grandmother, Nanay Rebecca, was diagnosed with dementia a few years earlier. She lived with and was taken care of by my grandparents. There were a few occasions where my grandparents had to call the police to look for her when she wouldn't come home, because she would go off on her own to run errands, but would get lost and have no idea where she was. As my Nanay Carmen's condition was just beginning, my Nanay Rebecca's dementia had progressed quickly, and she could no longer take care of herself. Even though my grandparents went above and beyond to try to care for my great-grandmother, they could not give her the adequate care that she needed. My grandma, a cancer survivor, was still recovering from years of cancer treatment, and the physical and emotional stress that came from taking care of my great-grandmother had put a strain on her health, so my family had opted to place her into a nursing home. A nursing home is a facility that provides medical care and assistance to people who need around-the-clock supervision. Unlike assisted living facilities, nursing homes are more focused on medical and health care. There are about 15,600 nursing homes in the US, which are home to about 1.3 million people, 48% which are living with dementia. In the nursing home, my great-grandmother received 24-hour care and assistance with everyday activities, such as eating, bathing, and grooming. However, since my great-grandmother had trouble eating on her own, my grandparents had hired someone outside of the nursing home to help feed her. During COVID, there was no visitation, and my great-grandmother's health significantly declined because of her inability to eat on her own. Soon, my Nanay Rebecca began to show signs of neglect. Nursing home abuse affects 1 in 3 seniors. This abuse can take many forms and can be performed by both nursing home staff and residents. Emotional abuse occurs when residents are verbally harassed, and physical abuse is intentional physical harm to a resident. Neglect is another form of abuse, and it occurs when nursing home residents are left unattended for extended periods of time by nursing home staff. Whether or not it is intentional, neglect happens in nursing homes because of staff shortages and inadequate staff training, which causes failure to give residents the proper care and attention they need. My great-grandmother had lost a lot of weight and had bladder infections due to the lack of care she received. Towards the end of her life, she got sick and was admitted into the hospital. My family never got to say our goodbyes, and my Nanay Rebecca passed away in 2020, alone in her hospital room. As my family had been dealing with my Nanay Rebecca's condition, my great-grandfather, who we call Lolo, which means grandfather in Tagalog, was living with Alzheimer's disease. After seeing the treatment my Nanay Rebecca received in the nursing home, my family decided to take a different approach to how they would go about caring for him. My Lolo lived with my grandparents and was taking care of them up until his death. My family has so much gratitude for the opportunity that we had to say our goodbyes to him, because we did not have the chance to do so with my Nanay Rebecca. Living with a great-grandparent with dementia hasn't been the easiest thing to do. Throughout the years, I've gotten used to my Nanay Carmen's episodes, explaining to her that she's in California and not the Philippines, and double locking the front door so that she doesn't wander off. Even though my Nanay Carmen is 98 years old, she is still able to care for herself on a basic level. She can still walk, eat by herself, and brush her own teeth. The constant companionship that she has with my family and I is what I believe has helped her dementia to progress at a slower rate in comparison to my Nanay Rebecca, who was alone during the final year of her life due to COVID. Being alone and experiencing social isolation not only affects one's mental and emotional well-being, but one's physical health. Social isolation is not only associated with the 50% increased risk of dementia, but with an increased risk of heart disease, stroke, anxiety, and depression. Being surrounded by examples of selfless service helped me build an admiration for all my grandparents' hard work and tireless efforts to care for their parents. As I got older and fully understood dementia and the effects it has on a family, I saw my grandparents' service to my great-grandparents as a testimony of their love. They were not deterred by the difficulty of the job or the roller coaster of emotions they went through. They continued to serve their parents without a doubt in their minds that this is what they should be doing. Being a caregiver is a demanding job that never ends, and I witnessed the physical and emotional stress that it puts on my grandma every single day. But through all the hard work and exhaustion, she manages to do this job with so much love and with a smile always on her face. Throughout my great-grandparents' illnesses, my family has unconditionally supported each other as a whole and have all contributed to ensuring that my grandparents felt loved and remembered up until the very end of their lives. Simple things like watching a show together, having a meal together, or even making conversation can make all the difference. If you have a grandparent or older family member in a nursing home, take time to visit them. If you can't, things like sending a text message to check up on them, or taking time out of your day to call them and ask them how they are doing, are still meaningful ways to connect. The act of honoring our elders and including them in our celebrations is more than just a cultural practice. These small, conscious efforts to acknowledge your loved ones strengthens familial bonds, bridges the generational gap, and creates lasting legacies. Don't wait to give your loved ones their flowers when they can no longer enjoy them. Practice selfless service and make your testimony of love now. Thank you.